The best way to listen to the best of the week is on the Relevant Radio app, free and always free. Download and share the #1 free Catholic app today in the App Store.
Well, I got the pumpkin recently. Haven't done anything to it. It's in the garage, staying on the cool side before I dig in. We know better than buying Halloween candy too early because, if it's too early, it means it's in the house and at least one of us knows where it's hidden, and, we want it to be there for the kids on the 31st. So we're going to talk Halloween a little bit here about how to navigate that as a Catholic family. Through the years, Sarah, for yourself or the kids as well, maybe a mix of some costumes are sweeter than others. Others are more scary than others on occasion.
Yeah, well, that is the tightrope. As they're little, they usually don't want anything too scary. They're thinking superheroes or the princesses or, just whatever their favorite thing is that year, especially when they're little. You get to do all of the choosing, and there's so many costumes out there. Just even at a resale store, you can get a bunch of costumes at a really great price. So there's a lot to choose from, lots of creative different things you can do. But as they get older, there's always, there's one or two kids that are always like, well, could I have blood with this? They're always looking to kind of push the envelope. How far can we get along? And, this year I kind of just pulled out that if it's too scary for your 2-year-old sister, it's not right for our family. So she won't be 2 forever. I can't keep that alive for too many more years. So, you kind of have to toe the line. It's kind of hard to know what is too far and, what is just fun.
Yeah, I don't want to scare the little ones. Now, as empty nesters, we do enjoy Halloween, even without our own little ones around. But my wife will dress up. I'm usually dressed as a mild-mannered homeowner handing out candy, but my wife does put costumes on. And we still have one of my favorites ever, and, it can be of use every once in a while, the inflatable dinosaur. You've seen these?
Nice,
the inflatable
yes.
T-Rex. And there's a little window in there so you can see what you're doing when you're the one wearing the costume. And others, if they look closely, possibly can see your face. And the one year that it scared our little neighbor girl, it was kind of sad. It's Mrs. Levin's.
She's in the costume, and then the little girl's scared, and then she runs down the stairs and the street following her. It's okay, it's just me. Probably even more traumatizing. Didn't go the way she wanted.
Those inflatable dinosaurs, when they are running, are quite hilarious, actually. And then there was the one year when I think it wasn't another inflatable, but she was a shark, and then I was going to wear the dinosaur costume, but it was too windy for the dinosaur to really work well. It wasn't getting deflated, but it was just like blowing around. It was too hard to even be on the front yard handing stuff out, so I had to go back and just stick with the mild-mannered, middle-aged homeowner handing out candy costume I usually wear, and will wear again this year. But how do we navigate stuff this time of year as Catholic families? Emily Jaminet joins us, Catholic author and speaker and Catholic radio personality and longtime guest here on Morning Air. Happy spooky season to you, Emily.
Well, good morning. Yes, happy spooky season. I started calling it the spooky season because a couple weeks ago, front yards have become literally graveyards all throughout the United States. This is an $11.6 billion industry people spend on Halloween. Halloween, I think, as you mentioned, Glen and Sarah, it used to be run downstairs, find a costume, reuse it a couple years, pass it down, you go out for a couple hours. But we are seeing a change, a trend of more spooky, more kind of the front yard displays are losing kind of that fall fest feeling and embracing some darkness. So I think as Catholic families, as Catholic parents, I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about this and giving us some points to consider, not to tell you if you should or should not take your kids trick-or-treating, but just more or less a big view of what's going on.
Well, and, again, we're in the world, but not of the world. And so Halloween will be all around us. And to the degree we participate, or, what way can we kind of bring Christ to the party, huh?
I really like how you just said that, because that's really true. It's a kind of an exciting night, because all of a sudden all your neighbors are knocking on your door. And it's really an opportunity to be the light, to share the joy of, a lot of times for our family, it's an opportunity to meet new neighbors. I can't tell you, the number of new neighbors we've met by knocking on the door as we have raised 7 children. and just all the years of doing that. But at the same time, I think it's worth pausing and discussing, where is our focus? And I think Sarah did a really good job describing, what are the standards for costumes? Does my front yard become a graveyard? Do I have body parts pouring out of my front lawn? Or, is this something that I really can have good humor, good fun, and keep the light of Christ always in our integrity as a family?
One of the things you talk about, Emily, is, thinking about how we handle what's at the door. Are our treats going to be spooky, or are we going to actually be a welcoming and friendly place? Because that interaction with neighbors and neighbor kids can be awesome. And I think, we live in an era where, stranger danger is a very real thing, but here's a time when we're trying to overcome that, right, for the sake of the traditions of the holiday. But I think it can be very good for little kids to see that there are indeed friendly and good adults beyond those related to them that care about them, so they know the world is a good place. So if we can be generous and welcoming when the little ones come by, that's not a bad thing.
I really appreciate how you said that. Halloween trick-or-treat beggar night is an opportunity when your neighbors are coming to you. So this is your friendly reminder to start thinking ahead. I can't tell you the number of years I go through all the kids' Halloween candy before they start eating, and I literally have to throw out strange things like candy eyeballs and gummies that are really gross. So, think about the kind of candy that you're handing out, making sure that it's absolutely age appropriate. Think about, maybe investing in a few little glow sticks. How exciting would that be for them to get something that they could use right in that moment? Or, even a pencil they could take to school, or some nice little stickers of encouraging messages. But, these are opportunities, as you started talking at the beginning of the segment, Glenn, about a lot of times we buy all this candy and then we start eating it for a couple of weeks and then it's in the home. But, it's true. We don't need excessive amounts of candy, but we do need to make sure that our home is a place, if you do participate in a neighborhood Beggars Night, that is a place of warmth and welcome. So I'd love to kind of go over some ways that we can do that versus scaring the lights out of little kids.
Oh, absolutely. And by the way, with the candy, I have found a good hiding spot in the house that my wife does not know where it is. And so last year I was really good. I did not dig into it, until that night. I got to sample a little bit to make sure it's safe, but I've got a good hiding spot. So Sarah, don't tell her where it is.
Yeah. Well, you know what? When it comes to hiding spots, I'm not the right person to tell any secret to, because I always have to find hiding spots for things that my kids want, candy, toys, whatever it is. And then I have to hide them so well that I can never remember where they are. So I usually end up having to purchase another one because I'm too good of a hider, not a good seeker. That's
Someday, yeah, someone's going to find all those things they should have gotten for Christmas. You hid the presents and you can't find it to wrap it again. But anyway, as far as decorations for Halloween, that can be a good place to start, Emily, with kind of a positive spin on the holiday.
Yeah, decorate with intention. I think that's the real key word as we are right in the middle of this beautiful season of fall. And I do live in the Midwest, so all the leaves are changing. And as you mentioned, pumpkins are really fun. Decorating the pumpkins is always, and carving pumpkins are really a great idea. I love to see the growing trend of front lanterns, on front steps as well. As a really great versatile decoration, some corn stalks. But, we drive in and out of our neighborhood, and there's one house that is very spooky. That's the word to use to describe it. And my 8-year-old said to me, "Mom, I just wish that mom knew how scary that was to me and anyone else." She's really disturbed by it. And I know that this family's having fun and it's their idea of fun, but at the same time, we really want to be intentional that we do not create a fear-based environment where people could be intimidated to literally walk up our doors.
We had a house in the neighborhood as young macho men. We still avoided it. It was up a hill and it had a wraparound porch with windows, and they would do scary things. And, maybe the other kids' big brothers went there once or something. But to this day, we avoided that. Of course, if I have occasion to drive by now, it's like, oh, that wasn't that big a house. But it certainly was when we were 8. And so we didn't go by there. But I think you might remember the good houses, the ones that are happy and welcoming, let alone maybe give out the good candy or the most of it. And I even remember one year when someone wasn't home, they left out a bowl of regular full-size candy bars. Take one, please. And we must have been in luck that we were the other group of kids that went by and just took the one because I'm sure it didn't last long. Often those bowls get taken all at once. Sad about that. But yeah, to be not overly scary for the little kids. And as far as decorations, I remember one year for a couple of years, we cut crosses into the pumpkin for decoration. And I just remember, and we'd also kind of alternate who would take the kids out when they were little. Because I loved both parts. Of course, taking the kids out can't be beat, but then fun to see the other ones come to the house too. But boy, could you see that pumpkin for a long ways down the block, with a cross cut into it. So, just some subtle ways too to think about decorating a little bit. Absolutely. And how about for those who think maybe Christians and Catholics, Emily, shouldn't have anything to do with Halloween?
Well, I think that we always are called to bring the light of Christ to others. So if you participate or you're not, it's really a night to reflect that if Halloween is only looked at as a singular event, it tells one side of the story. And that's the side which we often are focusing on is the evil, the scary, even the demonic. And as Sarah mentioned at the beginning of the segment, that as children age, there becomes this awakened interest. So as parents, we need to continue to empower our children to know the rest of the story, that Jesus conquered death, that we don't need to live in a state of fear, that the Lord doesn't want us to be anxious. This is a great time to teach our children, for example, the St. Michael prayer. I've really been focusing on the St. Michael prayer when we see those things that are other people's front yards that might bother a younger kid. I remind them to say a little prayer. I also remind them the importance of discernment. Discernment, as you mentioned, as we decide which house to go to, you don't have to go to every house if this is something you're participating in. There's also a lot of great events such as trick or trunks that will take place in our local communities, our local schools. So that might be a nice way to have fun. As we talked about costumes, historical figures, heroes, even saints. I wish my yard was blow up St. Michael's in clouds so everyone could come to a little piece of heaven. I haven't been able to find any kind of blow ups like that. But this idea of, bring the light to others, bring joy, tell the rest of the story. Let's not put that exclamation point right on the evil, but rather recognize that the Lord conquered death and sin, and he put the story back in perspective.
Emily, Roland is on the line from South Jersey, and he's got a great idea about what ought to be in the lawn. Go right ahead, Roland. You're on the air.
Thank you so much. I decided to make a Catholic statement against the prevailing culture that glorifies evil and the devils and goblins and ghouls. I actually replaced my American flag with another flag. It says All Hallows Eve, pray for us, and it has a collage of all the saints. Over the weekend, I went to a local Catholic store, purchased St. Anthony, St. Francis, two angels. I have on back order a St. Michael the Archangel that'll be coming shortly, as well as two Madonnas. So I intend to decorate my lawn with that. And more than anything, I have my angel for my nativity set that I received from Relevant Radio last year. I intend to put that out on my front tree and put a spotlight on that. So this way we can make a statement that our faith is important, and this is what Halloween really came from.
Wow. Excellent ideas, Roland. Excellent idea. I can totally picture, too, that the Relevant Radio Nativity Set Angel as well. That would be awesome with the spotlight. Emily, pretty good ideas, huh?
Yeah, I love the how the Holy Spirit inspires us to be creative as we're a witness. And we really are a witness. Your neighbors, they know you. They know your family. They know that you're, for many of them, mine know that we're the Catholic family. So it's really important that we don't lose our dignity, even on one night, and that there is evil on this night. We have to be aware. I don't just let them watch something I wouldn't let them watch any other day of the year. If it's not appropriate throughout the rest of the year, it's definitely not appropriate on Halloween either. And I think that it's important to empower our children to be able to see through. And, as a candle shines brightest in the darkness, it's important that we allow the light of Christ to shine through us, even on nights like this, and anything that we can do. I love the idea, as you said, put a cross on a pumpkin, maybe even carve out "be blessed" or "blessed" on a pumpkin, put an angel on a spotlight. What a great idea. If I could find a blow up St. Michael the Archangel, I would use that. I would do that. So to everyone that runs those companies, wouldn't that be cool? But let's tell the rest of the story that Jesus conquered death and be a witness every day of the year and not scare kids with front yards that are quite scary to little kids.
Emily, thanks so much. We hope you have a happy Halloween and get your favorite candy when you're doing the mom tax, sorting through the candy the kids bring home. Find out more, EmilyJaminet.com.
This entire episode of Morning Air is on the Relevant Radio app. The Relevant Radio app is completely free and updated daily with fresh articles, podcasts, and prayers. Don't delay. Download the app today, and thanks for listening.